I call to order the high-level debate on a second chance addressing the global prison challenge to mark the 10th anniversary of the adoption of the United Nations Standard Minimum Rules for the Treatment of Prisoners, the Nelson Mandela Rules. As mentioned in my letter dated 5th May 2025, the high-level debate is held pursuant to Resolution 78/229 of 19 December 2023 and aims to reiterate the importance of prison and penal reform, its impact on human rights and sustainable development, and its contribution to building safer communities and supporting the achievement of the Sustainable Development Goals, in particular Goal 16. The debate offers an opportunity to highlight the importance of promoting and encouraging the use of alternatives to imprisonment as part of comprehensive crime prevention and crime justice policies. The meeting also provides an opportunity for member states, observers, United Nations entities, and stakeholders to contribute to the discussion by sharing best practices from across regions and by reflecting on persistent and emerging prison challenges, including strategies to reduce prison overcrowding, the rehabilitation and reintegration of offenders into society. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I warmly welcome Ms. Gada Wali, Executive Director of the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, His Excellency, Mr. Jose Antonio Zabalgotia Trejo, Chair of the 34th session of the Commission on Crime, Prevention and Criminal Justice, and Judge Edwin Cameron, former Justice of the Constitutional Court of South Africa. Excellencies, we gather today to confront the urgent challenges facing prisons and prison reform. I know how central this issue is to justice and human dignity. This discussion takes on added meaning as we mark the 10th anniversary of the United Nations Standard Minimum Rules for the Treatment of Prisoners. These are commonly known as the Nelson Mandela Rules in honor of his enduring commitment to justice and human dignity. The Mandela Rules set out universally accepted standards for prison management and the treatment of prisoners. Prisons are an essential part of criminal justice systems. Yet failures in prison management and in the treatment of offenders compromise not only safety and security within prisons, but also progress on broader goals such as human rights and public health. These failures also hinder successful reintegration with serious consequences for communities beyond prison walls. When managed responsibly, prisons can support public safety, justice, and the rule of law. They also contribute to the achievement of the Sustainable Development Goals, including Goal 16 on peace, justice, and strong institutions. But custodial environments are inherently high risk. Only with proper safety guards and effective oversight can these risks be managed. Yet, prison systems remain critically under-resourced and unable to uphold basic standards of humane treatment. And prison reform continues to be neglected in policy making in many countries. Moreover, incarceration remains the default response to crime. Non-custodial alternatives are still underused and underdeveloped. As a result, in many countries, overcrowding in prisons is a serious issue. Overcrowding is a complex challenge. This undermines human dignity, worsens physical and mental health, fuels violence, and obstructs rehabilitation. Your Excellencies, we must also address the gender dimensions of incarceration. Women in detention face heightened risks and specific challenges. These risks and challenges include exposure to sexual violence, inadequate access to reproductive health care, and separation from their children. 15 years after the General Assembly adopted the Bangkok Rules, the first international guidelines focused on the needs of women in custody. We must confront the lack of political will that has hindered their implementation. Nelson Mandela once said, and I quote, "A nation should not be judged by how it treats its highest citizens, but its lowest ones." Prisons reflect the depth of a society's commitment to dignity, fairness, and justice. The United Nations has long recognized this truth. The Commission on Crime Prevention and Criminal Justice, together with the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime and other partners, play a vital role in advancing prison reform and protecting the rights of prisoners. As we examine prison systems, rehabilitation must be placed at the center of our efforts. We must ensure practical pathways for reintegration that reduce the risk of reoffending. These pathways should be built on education, vocational training, and psychosocial support, and grounded in policies that uphold equality and human dignity for all everywhere. Your Excellencies, I am confident that today's high-level debate will restore much-needed attention to this issue and help translate the Mandela Rules into practice. Let us remember that the true measure of justice is how we punish. It's not only how we punish, but how we protect, rehabilitate, and build a better future for everyone everywhere. Thank you.